This is Hidden Killers Week in Review.
A look back at the most prolific stories of the week.
This is the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Brueski.
Featuring former FBI Special Agent and Chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program, Robin Dreeke.
Diddy, his heyday was several years ago. Obviously, he still had, a lot of influence and power and such, but he wasn't making hit records anymore. He really wasn't doing any of that. So I would imagine that the limelight is no longer on him and kind of his time had passed. That would certainly cause someone, if you've already reached such extreme highs that most people never get to because of how far he went professionally, that you'd be still seeking something like that out. And that, I imagine, would then constitute extreme behavior. I mean, unless you can get that under control.
So here's the one thing that I think you see a bifurcation with people in his kind of situation where they've achieved great celebrity, great success, as defined by society, will do. They either go down the dark path that it looks like he might have gone down, or you go down into the path that actually were designed to also go down, that is service, philanthropy. Because when in the greatest challenges in life where we face trauma, things that make us feel horrible, the best thing you can do is give, serve. I mean, even during the pandemic, I think you and I have probably talked about it, many, many episodes ago, where if you're feeling down, you're feeling out, you're feeling like something's going wrong and sideways in your life, the best thing you can do to snap yourself out of it, serve. Figure out a way to be of service to others, because biologically, genetically, our brain will re-snap and gets a feel-good feeling when we're kind of collaborating, being part of a group, being valued by those groups and organizations. So he went down, supposedly, a path of self. Meanwhile, he was at a point he could have really taken it and channeled it outward, and it would have given the brain the same rewards as drugs. And so that's where I think it happens. Again, I'm simplifying potentially a complicated situation, but for me, it really comes down to that. We can do an unhealthy, dark path, or we can do a path of service, which will do the same thing for our brains.
One thing that I find interesting when you bring that up of philanthropy and doing service and helping others, I think in his mind, Diddy was doing service for others. I think he thought he was going down a philanthropist route, not necessarily the traditional route, but a route in his mind that he thought was giving. There's so many videos that we're seeing surface right now, and the ones that stand out to me that are very bizarre and disturbing are him with kids. And him with the kids going, hey, tell so-and-so what's your name? And then the kid gives their name. No, Combs. Combs is your last name. I'm adopting you. And he seemed to be, praying is the right word, but I think in his twisted world in mind, he was bringing them in. He was adopting them because they were always these kids in really tough, dark situations. And I don't know what happened to these kids. That's the weird part of all these videos. Like, oh, you're adopting all these. Oh, where the hell are they now? But there was these young girls. There were these young boys in some of these videos. And it's like, hey, it's your birthday. We're having a party. And everybody's looking like we got you off the street. We saved you. And now you're going to have a great life living with Diddy. Those are some of the most bizarre videos I have ever seen. What do you make of those sort of public displays that he was doing and what was actually going on?
Well, here's why they're bizarre. Where's the focus? On himself?
Look at me. I'm doing this. It's my name. It's all about me. Look how good I am. Yeah.
What he's lacked in his life, because he was living in an echo chamber, which many people do. Again, I'm not saying good or bad against him. It's a lot of people do. He just had a lot of resources to exasperate it. And that is, he fell in love with the cult of him. He had an echo chamber that says his way was great. He did not have, again, the thing we've talked about before, a loving critic that said, hey, you say you're about doing something for others, then why are you keep focusing on how it makes you look? How are you keep focusing on look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, we, me. The amount of I statements, go back and watch videos of him, even when he says he's doing service to others and helping kids get their start or whatever he's doing. It looks weird to us. That's why. Where's the focus?
Yeah.
Actually on the child that he's saying he's going to help, or is it actually to make himself feel good about justifying his own actions and serving himself?
100%. I want to know where the hell these kids went. I mean, that's like, did he truly, was this all for posterity? Like, did he truly adopt these kids? Did he truly bring them in? Was it just for a video, or what the hell happened?
So this is why also you're seeing the investigation taking a long time, because the same questions you're asking, law enforcement's asking. They want to talk to those kids. And when they're going to talk to those kids, who else did you know? Who else did you see? So you see these tendrils going out, because remember, we keep saying this, every time you have the potential for trafficking, innocent images, things like that, the tendrils go far and wide. And so they're trying to lock down this network and trying to figure out who's involved to the furthest extent they possibly can. And especially if it's taken place over a large number of years with a lot of people that are influenced by a lot of money, it's going to go a long way.
How difficult is a case like this to investigate, where it spans back decades? I mean, we're talking back to the 90s, where these allegations originally began, and you get closer to today. In the last couple of years, the Rodney Jones civil suit basically focuses on the last 3 years, but you go way, way back. You look at the Cassie lawsuit. You look at several of the other things that have become public. And I mean, it's a pattern of behavior. Is it difficult to get concrete evidence to prove some of these claims the further back it goes?
Yeah, and you hit it right there, concrete evidence, because you're going to have a lot of, and I'm sorry to say it, but it's true, the longer time period you have a lot of false memory potential implants, or a lot of lapsed memories. Yeah, people are going to tell you that things happen when they didn't happen, now becomes your memory. I mean, so memory plays a crucial role in this. But like you said, though, you're having a preponderance of statements, a preponderance of evidence, but they're actually going to have to go, as we've said before, where the evidence leads. And so they're going to be looking at more current things, because it won't take, there's a lot of allegations. There's a lot of people they're going to be interviewing, but I don't think it's going to take a whole lot of going back tens of years, decades to topple the entire thing. I think it's going to be able to be pretty recent to be able to do that. But I think they're going to be able to show that arc of where that started decades ago, most likely.
Who are they wanting to talk to right now, do you think? I'm not necessarily asking for names, but the type of people that they're looking at getting information from. We already saw the basketball player who was the drug mule allegedly for him, that they busted him for some gummies at the airport. But obviously there's more to it than just that. Who else in his world are they wanting to get information from that they likely could be a confidential informant and help with the case?
They're going to be looking at anyone and everything that's going to have direct knowledge of individuals that were abused and trafficked in any way first, and then also including drugs. They're going to be looking for the sources of those informations, where it came from, and who had direct access to those things and knowledge of those people involved. And then the next thing is to do is collaborate it with other people that saw exactly the same thing, because because it's going to be hearsay until it can be corroborated by a lot of other individuals as well as an evidentiary. If you can get any kind of biologicals, if you can get any kind of genetics, any kind of DNA, things like that.
And he had a big staff for him. I would imagine those are going to be some of the key people that they're going to be trying to get to talk. Do they really have a choice in talking to federal authorities, especially if they were involved in some of this? I mean, obviously at the behest of their boss, quote unquote, but if your boss is asking you to do illegal behaviors, it doesn't really matter. You still can't do it, even if the boss says do it.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be going for them. There's no doubt they'll be going for them. And there's no, again, I'm not the lawyer on this, but the only privilege that exists is between husband and wife, or married couple, however that transpires in whatever state you're in. But that's it. Everyone else is free game.
Sick of the ads?
We are too.
Start listening with no commercials now and get access to all of our episodes in advance of everyone else.
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
True Crime Today Premium Plus.
Sign up now.